Joined now behind the mic with Andy Kemper, primarily color commentator in Portland, Oregon for the Portland Winterhawks, although he's done some play-by-play this year. Andy, talk to us about this year's Portland team on a bit of a losing streak, but overall a strong start to the season. Is that what's expected of the Winterhawks?
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of returning talent to this team, and there was high expectations coming into the season, just exactly how good they would be. And still early, we're 14 games into the season, but 10-4 to start is a really good start. Started off in 9 of the first 10, lost 3 in a row, and then won our last game in with a goal with 39 seconds left to win it 2-1. So the team's been playing very well. Even the 3 losses they had in succession, they were still creating tons of scoring chances, just weren't able to bury a timely goal when they needed it. But all things considered, it's been a very good start for the team, and they're where they want to be, top of the Western Conference. And for head coach Mike Johnson, I think he's pretty happy with what he's seen so far.
Looking at some of the draft picks on your team, I'll work through some of the big names, but I wanted to first ask about Cody Glass, first ever draft pick of the Vegas Golden Knights. Have you had a chance to talk to him about how exciting that is, not just to be a first-round pick, but to be the first ever by a team? And tell us about him and if he's kind of created some Golden Knights fans in Portland, maybe.
Vegas has picked up quite a few followers here in Rose City. Cody Glass is part of that, but also they have Brendan Leipzig and Lucas Visa, who both played for the Winterhawks in junior, on their current rosters. Vegas has been quite on the coast, but it's west of the Rockies. And for Cody Glass, obviously a tremendous offensive talent, probably has the best vision I've seen in the Western Hockey League for a number of years, and creates chances just by being in the right place and then having the ability to find guys who are open for the passing plays. Cody Glass is a guy that Hawks were able to get in the first round of the Bantam draft, but it was a little bit later in the first round. To have the kind of talent he has to be able to select him at that position has been a huge part for Portland. But his line right now, playing with Skylar McKenzie, who he played with all of last year as well, Keeper Bellows to the mix on the other side. They've been dynamic the first 14 games of the season. But Glass really is the straw that stirs the offensive drink for Portland. And we say quietly, it's been a quiet 23 points in 14 games for Cody Glass, but he's done everything as advertised.
You mentioned Bellows, one of 3 first-round picks, along with Glass and Henry Jokiharju. Tell me a little bit more about Bellows, draft pick of the Islanders, and Jokiharju, draft pick of the Blackhawks.
Well, Keeper Bellows is the guy that Winterhawks took in the Bantam draft in his 14-year-old season. Came to a training camp when he was 15, decided to go to the U.S. National Development Team program, and then eventually to the NCAA with Boston University. And Bellows is a guy that the Hawks always kept on their radar, continued to have conversations with him. And last year at the World Junior Championships with Team USA, Caleb Jones, who was a Winterhawk defenseman, kind of went through the same path, only decided to come to Portland instead of NCAA after the development team, kind of put the heavy recruitment on him to come to Portland and play. Bellows didn't have outstanding numbers in the NCAA as a freshman. Freshmen, sometimes it's hard for them to get ice time and get those quality minutes that maybe they expected. He wanted to have a chance to come and play a more professional schedule, 72-game schedule this year. It's changing to 68 next year. But a chance to play an NHL-style schedule, and he's been nothing short of outstanding since joining the Winterhawks lineup. We all knew he could score goals. He had 50 goals for the development team. But for me, the biggest thing is not only that, but his playmaking ability and also playing a 200-foot game defensively. It shows why the Islanders took him in the first round, and a guy that's going to be a huge part of this team. He's got 22 points in 14 games, and kind of those are goals. So definitely put up big numbers. But Jokiharju is the steady guy on the blue line for the Winterhawks this year as an 18-year-old. He always seems to be in the right place at the right time. He's not a physical defenseman, but he doesn't get beat. He doesn't lose battles in the corners or behind the net. He always seems to come away with the puck, and just a heads-up defenseman. Skates well, joins the rush. 15 points in the season for him. So offensively, the numbers have been there. But the biggest thing I noticed in him is that he just always seems to take the right play, take the right route to get to the puck. Or if he has a guy driving on him who's trying to beat him wide, he just forces him to the corner, or forces him around the net, and doesn't have to be necessarily overly physical. Just has to play smart and be in the right place. And he has definitely done that this year.
Finally, I wanted to ask about some of the rivalries with the Winterhawks. Who will be the teams that fans get most amped up for? Is the Portland-Seattle rivalry that exists in other sports, is that carried to the WHL?
Without a doubt. That is the biggest rivalry. I-5 rivalry, as we call it. I mean, now that they moved to Kent from Seattle, Kent's about a half an hour south of downtown Seattle, where the Thunderbirds play now. So it's only about a 2-hour and 20-minute drive between the two arenas. So every time you play, and it's usually a Saturday night game or a Friday night game, to get that rivalry going, you get fans from each team going to each other's buildings, and it definitely helps amplify the rivalry, if you will. And plus it helps if both teams have good hockey teams. There's been a few years where The Winterhawks and Thunderbirds have been dominant over the other one. The last couple of years, it's been pretty even. Seattle winning the league championship last year and making the league final year before. Portland, 5 previous years, making it to the league final or the conference final. So it helps when you have 2 good teams battling it out and duking it out every night. They're close hockey games. But that definitely is the rivalry for the Winterhawks. The Everett Silvertips are kind of maybe second in line, as they're just a little further north than the Seattle Thunderbirds, about an hour further north on I-5. But the U.S. Division teams are rivals, but Seattle definitely takes the cake as far as the biggest rivalry, and goes all the way back to not only the Winterhawks and Thunderbirds, but back to the old Western Hockey League days with the Portland Buckaroos and the Seattle Totems, and going back all the way into the late 50s, early 60s as far as hockey rivalry between the two cities.
Well, those battles are the lifeblood of junior hockey. Hopefully you enjoy watching them all season. Best of luck to you and the Winterhawks this year. Andy, thanks for this.
Hey, anytime, Patrick.
That's Andy Kemper, color commentator for the Portland Winterhawks in the WHL. You're listening to Carstar, Cape Breton Screaming Eagles Hockey, 1270 CJCB.